Let's get in the trenches here. We're going to go to some high beta tech that's been acting well and not been acting well and see what that means. So let's start with Apple. So was it a concern that Apple closed kind of flat on Tuesday despite the rally that we saw?
I have no concerns.
Okay.
None at all. Let's look at the chart here because I think the chart tells the story. Apple has great relative strength. It absorbed what was, I guess in the mainstream media considered a not positive story, but it just took that story and it ran with it. Buyers came in. Now, there's going to be the argument, yeah, well, hey, volume's decreasing here. But the reality of it is we make our money with price. And it's just a point I want to hammer home. We make our money with price. You don't make your money with volume. We make our money as price goes up. So we have to respect the fact that price is going up here, and it looks very, very constructive. We broke a little mini downtrend that I know Scott covered and talked about prior. We saw that breakout late last week.
So too late to add here then?
Well, I would wait for a little bit of a pullback or, maybe another day or two of consolidation. It is holding this rally very, very nicely. You can see we powered up from about 350 to 390. We're holding this level. I don't necessarily know on the end of the month into this holiday week with lighter volume, you really want to commit a lot of capital. I would like to see a pullback into the mid 370s, ideally for a good entry.
Gotcha.
But I do like the stock macro, and I do think we could potentially rally to new highs.
Let's talk about Netflix. It's finally showing signs of life of 5% on Tuesday, but fundamentally nothing's really changed for this company. I mean, we are seeing them raise subscription levels 60% this week, which could be scary for a long-term investor, but as a trade, maybe it's a good opportunity now?
Well, let's look at it. If we look at the weekly at Netflix, I mean, this is a story stock. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Netflix. It's gone from a bargain basement to a high flyer in, since its inception. Yeah. It's been nothing but profitable for a lot of people. At this point, I'm a little more on the conservative side here. It did pull back from highs from 300 all the way down to 200 in the last, 6-8 weeks. We did break out of this downtrend, yesterday. We saw some nice buying come in. Volume came up a little bit, which is good, but still really lagging. Whereas an Apple and some of the other high beta tech stocks are approaching their 52-week highs.
Right.
This one just got going yesterday, so I'd be a little more cautious.
So you wouldn't
here.
be jumping in for a catch-up play yet?
No.
Okay. Let's go to Baidu then, closing up about 3.5% yesterday. Has it broken its downtrend? Of course, CCTV came out and sort of raised the issue of fraud with the company a few weeks ago.
Well, with Baidu, again, another stock that's seen just a spectacular run. If you look at the, complete picture here of Baidu, and I'll go back so we can kind of get an idea. I mean, this is just a spectacular run that stock's had. It's becoming very, very choppy in here. And by that, I mean, a lot of ebbs and a lot of flows, a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. That, to me, is a sign of indecision. We look to the left a little bit. The stock's in the same place it was back in April and in the earlier parts of the year. So like I said, we are riding sort of that volatility wave here. We'll see. In time, I think Baidu could leg a little bit higher. Let's respect the fact that it held the 200-day moving average here and popped up. At this point, I don't necessarily know I'd be a buyer. I might look to be a buyer on any, on any weakness.
And talking about weakness, let's go to Salesforce.com because did not participate in the rally yesterday. Closed down about 2.5%. Is this kind of a warning sign or a good time to then get in? And if it could play catch up with its other sisters and brothers, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at CRM. An interesting story here. The last 6-8 months, we've seen some sideways basing action. I don't necessarily like CRM here.
Okay.
We saw a sell-off from 160 down to just above 100 in the last 6 weeks. Not much of a retracement here. This is telling me that market might not like this stock right here, right now. Let's sit on the sidelines here on this one and let's wait for a better setup.